talking about the so-called Rayleigh-Bénard cells. If you take a pan of water and you put it on a source of heat and you heat it uniformly from below, what happens? First thing that happens is a gradient develops. A gradient is the appearance of a non-equilibrium conditions. The liquid in that petri dish is not at thermal equilibrium. If you continue to heat that petri dish at a certain temperature threshold, something happens. That is, you start getting these little bubbles of liquid. If you don't continue to heat the water, the context, the boundary conditions of that petri dish, literally the edges of the pan of water or the petri dish and so on, the conditions surrounding each molecule of water will dampen those little weird little bubbly fluctuations that are strings of molecules interacting with each other. Does this sound familiar with the bus stop, right?
Yeah.
It's people who are first at equilibrium, all of a sudden conditions take them to a disequilibrium condition. You start getting these bubbling going on. But back to the Bénard cell, if you continue to heat that pan of liquid at a certain threshold condition, the environment can no longer damp those random perturbations. And you get a phase transformation where the system reorganizes into rolling hexagonal cells of fluid whose direction cannot be predicted. It is the direction of each of those rolling cells, the size, the precise configuration cannot be predicted. But as a whole, a Bénard cell lowers local entropy production. So this was a situation that Prigogine deservedly gets the Nobel for showing, look, nobody's saying that overall the second law of thermodynamics is being violated. Overall, that solid transformation to those rolling hexagonal cells of fluid release a burst of entropy. So overall, the second law of thermodynamics definitely holds. But locally, that newly emergent structure shows locally internal lowered entropy production, which will persist. What do I mean by persistence? That's what you asked. Mm-hmm. It means, just as I said, once that group of people at the bus stop find it hard, once they coalesce as a group, find it hard, each individual finds it hard to leave. Now they're entrained in this dynamic. How do you leave these people in the lurch? That's the social version of it, the human version of it. The water molecule version of it is once each of those billions of water molecules in each rolling hexagonal Bénard cell is entrained into that larger dynamic structure. The dynamic structure as a whole, WHOLE, constrains the component water molecules. They no longer have the degrees of freedom to do as they please, if you will, allow me that anthropomorphism, to do as they please the way they would have before that hexagonal Bénard cell structure formed. So persistence to me means or implies that an organization, and I'm going to use it here too, even though this happens to be a physical organization, it's not a social organization, that an organization has coalesced and has thereby restricted the degrees of freedom of its components. Therefore, once I am a member of an organization, a social organization, be it a military command unit, be it a corporation, I am not free to behave any way I choose. There is as a member of this organization, I am constrained by the values of that organization to which I belong. Meaning what? I am constrained by the interdependent constraint structure that is that organization. So if I'm that water molecule, you allow me again the anthropomorphism, I am not free to do as I choose. I have to adhere to the emergent characteristics. In the case of human beings, those are values. And obviously, I don't want to say that about Bernard cells, but it is a constraint dynamic that I am now constrained to embody, because I am part of it now.